My name is Evgeny Yastrebov. I am 26 years of age. I come from Russia, Moscow, and I volunteer for the Civic Assistance Committee. I think I try to understand them, and I try to understand the fact that they're in a very different situation than I am. And I try to understand that and kind of by helping them, I am putting myself in their shoes and trying to see what their life is like. First of all, I wanted to volunteer because I wanted to get some experience at the organization that I volunteered for, but then it kind of transformed into something bigger. And once I started helping refugees and going to immigration centers and courts and police stations, it kind of made me want to do it more. And when you see people having problems that are very different from your own, you realize that life is much bigger than just your hobbies, your sports, your friends, and yeah. I think a general understanding of the situation, of the problem that refugees deal with is very important. Also, you have to understand that money is not involved, so you cannot be expected to get paid, or you shouldn't expect to be thanked for your work. You just do what you do, and those things. Sometimes I volunteer for 3 hours a day, a few times a week. Sometimes it's from 9 to 6, and it really depends on the situations because sometimes the situation is that it's an emergency and they need me for the whole day, and sometimes it really depends on the day and depends on the situation. I teach English part-time, online, private lessons, and that's how I make a living. Well, at first they didn't really understand that. They asked me lots of questions, and one of the questions was, are you getting paid? And I said no, and they said, okay, that's fine. So the second question was, are you going to get a job after maybe 3 months or 4 months or 6 months? And I said no, there is no promise of me getting a job whatsoever. And they said, so why are you doing this? And for a long time they didn't understand it, which was okay, and I wasn't angry with them about that. But then over time, once they saw that my work has effect on other people, they started to get it, and they didn't really have any negative feelings about it. And now that I came to Poland, especially when I told them that I got an offer from the Solidarności Center that I can go to Poland and meet with people who also volunteer and who also work with refugees, they were kind of happy about that, and I guess that's good. My organization, the Civic Assistance Committee, is the official agent of the United Nations for refugees. So we're pretty much one of the only organizations that work with refugees. My work in particular includes assisting refugees to immigration centers, to courts, to police stations. And from the moment that I meet the refugees or get in contact with refugees, I work with them until whenever, forever. So so that basically anything a human being needs, I help them get. Because very often they come to Russia, in my case, they come to Russia and they can't go to medical centers by themselves. They can't sometimes buy tickets by themselves. They can't go to immigration centers by themselves. So I do everything that we need, and I just try to provide them. The most shocking moment was when one of the refugees, another country invited them, so they had an opportunity to go from Russia to another European country, and we had all the documents ready. Everything was perfect. But when we were at the airport, they didn't want to let us through, and they had no legal background for it. And I tried talking to them, and the head of my organization tried talking to them, but we couldn't do anything. When we had to get one extra paper, which we didn't have to get according to the Constitution, we didn't have to get anything. But the immigration officers, they didn't want to let us through, and yeah, so it was very upsetting because it was very stressful and very unnecessary. But we just, you know, a week later, those people, they still went out of Russia, but unfortunately, it should have happened the first time, not the second. Honestly, before I came here, 2 days before, I was a little bit hesitant, and I didn't really think about how good it was going to be, and I thought maybe I should just go back home and just do my work at the organization, because I didn't really know what to expect. But actually, from the first day, it was really good. I enjoyed it, and it was unexpectedly good. And what I really liked, and what I really like is that I get to meet people who do the same, but in a different country. And that gives me a very good perspective on how the situation is different in Europe as opposed to in Russia. I get to talk to them and share our ideas, and the workshops that we do are very, very useful, and we talk about your mind, your body, and I think pretty much everything that we have done so far in this program, I will definitely use in my life as a volunteer and in my future